What's up? This is Easy Plays. We're going to get right into Airport CEO. Right now I'm picking a little spot down central North Carolina, Greensboro area. Growing rapidly and they've asked us to kind of improve infrastructure. So what we're going to do is build a Middle Carolina regional, small airport. Hopefully we can grow it into something bigger. So now I'm trying to decide what I want to do with it here. As far as logo, larger map, I'm going to try to make it a little harder, a little bit of a challenge. So going into it, we'll try to make it as realistic as possible. We'll follow FAA 139 regulations. If you don't know, that follows pretty much how airports are designed and run. So we're going to pick contractor. Biggest one's usually the better option when it comes in here. So we're going to deploy everybody up. So now I'm going to try to fence it off. The biggest problem here is going to be animals right now. Try to minimize as many emergencies as possible until we can invest in it, upgrade, and get to that next portion. Once I get all of this kind of looped up, I'll probably do a start setting up how I want to set the runways. Give enough room to clear, but we also want to make sure we can get any vehicles around because we want to make sure we get our inspections done once we get that researched. Like I said, going into it, try to follow 139 rules. It's a lot of rules in that, and I won't go into too much detail to bore people. Biggest thing here, we got to make sure we got enough space to give aircraft some breathing room. 250 feet on each side of that center line, 1,000 feet on the end. Kind of wing it on this one. So we'll be landing primarily from the west on this one. Figured easier to save money. I need to put 2 wind cones. We will do some blast wall, also known visual screens. This will kind of give an indication on the end of the runway, but also keep any vehicles transiting through and any debris out the area. So what I'm doing here, adding a service road to get to our weather station when it needs to be serviced. We're at our tower. Try to put it pretty central. Again, since we are landing primarily from the west side, we won't need to do anything too crazy. Once aircraft depart, they're out of here. So with Airport CEO, got to have an entrance and an exit to each runway. And that's where I was deciding that probably should put it in a different spot to avoid any hiccup with aircraft coming out the runway, or in this case coming onto the runway. So for here, we haven't seen Airport CEO. Smaller aircraft only need 3 blocks wide as far as taxiing room. Now what I'm trying to devise here is pretty much where I want to put kind of a headquarters, something general where they can come. We'll start setting up offices, make sure the CEO and any more executives, anybody doing any research can get that knocked out. So we'll try to make it look a little bit nicer. We don't want it nothing crazy because it is a government funded place, and as you know, they try not to spend too much money. trying to remember where stuff is. I play it enough, but you think I should know what's going on. But I will put a few vehicle stops here. Unfortunately, with the vehicle stops, they'll still inevitably have passengers come this way, which is pretty standard in airports. From where I've worked, you see a lot of stuff, people driving where they shouldn't be, trying to access places to get around certain things. You see, workers are starting to finish up this office here. I'm gonna start putting some more touches in here, as far as making it pretty functional. And I like to get this kind of knocked out sooner. Sooner we can get this knocked out, sooner we can start researching projects. As we get into the later part of this one, I'll use those bathrooms as more of a copy for the rest of it. So here what I'm doing, adding into executive offices, and then I'll do 2 on the other side. Try to make kind of a central area for work for administrators. Idea here is, I want them all working together, but at the same time give people some room to actually do anything they're supposed to be doing. So you gotta figure out where I want to work, so I'm picking that corner office, of course. CO operations next to me. Keep up finances over here, as well as any information. Middle already selected for administrators, so this will be the big think tank area. Put some desks in each office, of course. A bunch of desks down in the middle. We had some windows, got to get that natural light in. There, just separate them out, make sure I got each side separated. I decide how I want to make that entrance, pretty much the corridors of this office to be. Nice little wood grain going on. So yeah, pretty much just got to finish up the bathroom. You see they got the taxiway down. Starting to come together up here. Figured it was easier to divide and conquer what I was doing. So we'll try to make a little break area for everybody working here. Everybody's working, knocking out the fence line. Like I said, trying to keep the animals off is going to help us in the initial part with the emergencies, because the biggest cause initially is bird strikes and all when we get into this. So now I'm starting my road. It's going to be how contractors, everybody get onto the airfield. And I don't need to do this part here, but I just felt like it needed a little separation on that side. And just a guide to see where that fence line starts against that. Gate there. Once we get this fence line, it's going to give the contractor somewhere to enter, and enter right there, fastest spot. So as I'm going through this, I've already decided I'm putting the terminal over here on this, we'll call it the eastern part of the map. Downside is I didn't really give myself much room to grow, but that's a future problem. Part here will deal with it a little bit, because again I'm putting my terminal here, so that'll go away shortly. So right now, saving money, the best option would be to use those grass parking area, pretty much grass everything, but you know, we've gotten all this money from the city, from the area, and from the feds. We're going to use it, make it look nice, bring in some people, entice them to come spend some money. So I do have that tutorial still up, but it's more just to kind of give me a basis on how I want to do things. There, if you saw, I had an initial spot there to kind of see where I got to work with, so I want to put one more parking space. It's going to be a little bit offset, but hopefully your OCD can just ignore that one part. What we'll do is connect this up to that service road, connect these all together. As we get into the later game, in the event that we have types of emergencies, be something we can look into. Alright, so checking in, making sure everything's connected up. Because knowing me, I'd probably forget something. Sure, I noticed that I missed a piece, just to make it look a little more full. Might go back and fix that. Kind of make it look like a full ramp. So you can see we got a tower up. Give a little parking area for it. Runways up. We'll open that once we get everything else set up. Make sure everything's connected to the runway. Figured out future-proof just a little bit. Add in the actual garage and not just that parking spot on the grass. Kind of overview, seeing what we got going on here. I didn't miss nothing yet, because again, probably missed something. Here I got a weird message. Couldn't really figure out what was going on there, because I was like, it's connected. Eventually it went away, but it bothered me for a bit. Now I noticed that I got all my desks in, so it's time to get started on getting the administrators to work. I just hired everybody, I think. Most everybody. Yeah, so once I got all 6, I went there, immediately started getting to work on, I think, commercial. Yep, right to it. So they almost got the fence up. Now I'm kind of looking back like, oh man, you gotta start working on a terminal. So I kind of plan out this weird little C. I didn't want it too wide, but at the same time I didn't want to miss out on any space. I wanted a good amount of gates I could get in initially. So got rid of these inner walls so they wouldn't build them, had to take them out later. What I'll do is I'll make this bottom part extend out into this area, make it kind of parking and all. Here's where I remembered that I didn't add anything in the bathroom, so I had to go back and fix it, and then I'll forget something else in a little bit. And we're kind of future-proofing, so way more stalls than is actually needed, but you never know. I realized it wouldn't properly copy, so granted I didn't need to, I could have just copied bits and pieces. I figured do it again and I'll fix it. Make sure that's employee only, because I know somebody will park there. Again, this is all first-hand experience. Now I've already got it open. Figure we start trying to make a little bit of money right away. That way it can help supplement me bleeding money on this difficulty. Start with 2 million, so that's me just making sure I had everything. So normally Once as soon as you open that runway and open the airport, you get your first plane landing immediately, as if they were watching you build it. I figured while I was waiting, just do a little bit more of a add decorations, offices and all. Do too much with some of the other offices that weren't staffed yet, so now I'm looking over this thinking, initially I was gonna wait and invest in doing some underground structure to get from check-in over there, but that'd have been way too expensive for a first-time airport. So maybe in the future we'll see what we do. If I remember right, first plane in, yep, Baron 58. Or second plane, just now seeing it down there. First plane's already landed. So now we got commercial flights already. So whenever I play this, I go right to the emergency response because I like to play on a higher difficulty. You got more chance of emergency happening. I figured let me get a jump on that right away, because if you don't, you lose out and get hit with fines. That and baggage. But we'll cross that boat later. So here, trying to make a little bit more money, trying to see how I wanted to put this. Initially I was going to try and add an extra gate, but it wouldn't have fit, and I didn't feel like adding to the terminal, so I just made it an even 5, even 6. So here's where I finally was like, yep, that's what I should have done initially. So I'm gonna get rid of all of this here. Make kind of a horseshoe terminal setup. Initially I was going to wait till they finished taking out that road to do this to the fence, but figured I'd start now. And what I'll do is I'll adjust it. And then there's a door up here I placed for construction that's going to cost me later. Again, that's a future problem. How the tutorials kind of got me ahead of it. Now I'm kind of planning what I want to do next here. Didn't really know how I wanted to put the hanger yet, but kind of just threw it somewhere. Kind of out the way, but still accessible. Again, for emergencies, that's where the aircraft will go, and emergency services will head that way to follow up once everything's done. So as these were built, turned them into in the commercial that'll stop any of the private general aviation guys coming in. Here, I was waiting for that fifth one to finish, didn't realize it finished it up, so kind of sitting there like a bump on a log waiting. There we go, finally remembered it or saw it. So I got everything ready. Whenever I do these taxiways, I kind of like to do a one way in, one way out. Definitely helps alleviate with traffic getting bottlenecked in or out somewhere. So now I'm waiting for them to finish removing that stuff so I can start working on the non-secure side of the terminal. Even though I don't have a depot started on the fuel truck, I won't get the contract until they finish with that, because they'll just come and keep looping around trying to fill up something that's not there. You can see all the contractors going through that gate I built. Should have moved a little closer into the middle, but it's doing what it needs to. Figured I'd make a kind of normal grid color for the fuel truck. See how I adjust other stuff, but that's down the line. That fuel depot built, so now I can finally get a contract for some fuel. Got a lot of people lined up to start coming in, but we won't do that until we can actually get some desks, personnel working and all. Sped up the time here just to hurry up so I can start working on the rest of this terminal, because it's bothering me. For this terminal, I didn't really base it off anything I'd seen before. Like I said, I did want to try and make it a little bit realistic, so I imagine it's something, maybe an existing FBO or something that would have happened, or just something quick and easy to throw up. So now what I'm trying to do is kind of make up a one-way loop. Keeps traffic moving. Get a good amount of parking in both sides. The idea here is one part of this little appendix of a terminal would be departures, one would be arrivals. So checking in, checking out, or checking in and retrieving baggage anyway. Here what I'm doing, what I've noticed is every time I try and make something separated from the main terminal, I get employees parking there and then they can't make it across. Or like I said, the occasional passenger will still go there and they can't just walk across without a crosswalk and sidewalk. So that's there because inevitably it will happen. Now I'll start putting my desks, try and get ahead of it, make sure it's ready for the first flights. Thought process initially was, if I do this, it'll keep those people from going that way. It was not the case. As you'll see later on, I'll get a notification if people can't get around. So again, small town airport, starting out, smaller airport. You don't really need that many bus stops and cabbie stops. Drop-offs and all, just enough to start getting people in and out. So parking, I want to have a good amount of parking because a lot of airports make a lot of revenue off of just parking alone. Always normally make 2 lanes, but this one I decided 1 lane. Again, looking at a realistic one, they be trying to save money wherever they can. So now I'm adding the 1-way. I want it as efficient as possible. Remember, I forgot that part. Now we've got to get our entrances and exits in. I make them match up as best I could. This will be our security corridor. Me checking back to see how far that's gotten. So now I'm trying to see how I really want to set up the check-in portion. set it up about as good as to the middle as I could get it, or how I wanted it actually. That seems pretty good. And I decided to make check-in on that upper portion, the northern part of that, and underneath that wall south of it, that's our it's gonna be our baggage claim eventually, but that's where people exit to get out of here, you know. I always try to make one check-in per stand. Helps alleviate a lot of that backup we'll get. Here it's almost like I measured it out perfectly what I was trying to do. Just so happened it worked out. I did this one of the airports I was in and out of a lot. Kind of had a glass where you could see people check or going through security and exiting. So. Now just trying to visualize it. You can see you got an animal there. He's outside of the airfield. Adding the windows because everybody, no matter who you are, you're going to look out. Especially if you don't even care but you want to make sure your flight's here. You're going to look out that window. Me realizing I probably need to start hiring some people, but in due time. It's me measuring because I know people will complain if there isn't a bathroom in the terminal, which is a valid complaint. Me realizing I didn't turn it on either. It's been off the whole time. So, you know, there's some guy that's just upset not being able to use it while he's at work. There we go. Do the same for the ladies' bathroom. I figured it was a pretty good estimate because we want a lot of people, so we got, again, future-proof just enough to make it slightly believable. Even though I'm just hemorrhaging money at this point, hadn't even realized it. I hadn't even hired anybody to work inside yet either. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I could copy and paste from something that didn't exist yet, so better safe than sorry. I just went and took it from the other one. And there, I had to remember which one I'd set up. And there we go. Can't open them till they got one of each in there, but they're in there. And that's me trying to figure out which tile. I always use that one basic one, so figured I'd do something different. security carpet blue. Almost every security I've been to that has carpet still has this weird 90s blue carpet era still going on. And it's starting to form up. Every time I put down the carpet, I always debate if I'm going to bring it to the door, because it feels weird to have it that far over. You know, coming in and out, everything's all muddy or wet when it's weather. But I was like, you know what, I'll just bring it out. Nobody has to look at a stark concrete white floor anymore. I decided to add a actual staff room in the terminal, especially since that main staff room in the, I guess we'll call it the headquarters, doesn't allow anybody that's not supposed to be as far as staff. Which is pretty accurate for a headquarters. It's only available to people working in the terminal. Whenever I do these, I never usually include the contractors in any of them, because usually as soon as I'm done, I try to give them the boot, if I remember to anyway. Trying to make the break room fairly comfortable. And I always add that set of seats in any of the break rooms because it just holds so many people. Imagine somebody watching over your shoulders, you're trying to do some computer work. So just realizing where I actually put those information desks is not convenient at all for anybody coming in on that one side. As soon as they come in, they just see check-in. So hopefully this will be for those people who normally come in and out a lot. As far as passenger ramp agents, I just hired everybody. Wide range. Service techs and janitors only hire a few. I figure I need that many just to get over the hump. Or for janitors, I hired everybody. Service technicians only got a few of them. Here I got a CFO. That way I can adjust fees and salaries. It's the best part of that position to me. We'll make a decent queue. Luckily, these first planes we're going to get in aren't going to hold more than 19 people at the very most. versus the 135 thing. 121 is normally for bigger aircraft, but it still handles these too. So same thing with the Qs here. Just got them extended up to that, again, security carpet blue. I'm finally getting stuff stacked up. I got security working. Don't have any people for the gate, but I didn't realize I didn't connect the gate to the actual stand yet. Made these back ones long term. Now I'm actually looking at airlines, so the way I picked these, more just to see what smaller aircraft I could get in, because I wanted a good variety. So that one, 208 and the Beech 1900. Another 208. Another 1900. Another. I have a affinity for those two planes. I used to fly them a lot. Didn't get to fly the Saab, but that was pretty good. I didn't get a DH6, so didn't even realize I didn't pick that one. I'm gonna make it comfortable. Add some seats. Normally I don't paint the seats. I probably won't paint the seats for this one, but maybe in the later stage of the game, I may add some more fancy colors. Me still not realizing I didn't connect the boarding gates to the actual stands. Then I realized that door is still unsecured, so I had to clear that out and then add a wall. There we go. Thinking that's the problem, but again, it's still not. I still haven't connected them. I think now it finally hit me. Here we go. I always like to rename these gates numerically, just so it helps differentiate between the GA gates, and usually when you get to this stage you got higher numbers, so we're at like small stand 15 and all at this point, and I didn't want to see that, so just numbered them 1 through 6, and then it helps me always like to organize them per airline anyway. So my plan was to have 1 gate per airline total, and add a 6th airline, but I figured I'd make that 6th gate overflow, which is normal in small airports and bigger ones too. Some gates are just extra. And for clarity, I play this on the Steamdeck, and I have it running to an external monitor. And for some reason, it will not let me put it on the hour. So if you ever get confused on why that is, that's why. I'm pretty sure it's something operator error that I messed up on, but that's what I've come to terms with. And now I'm actually starting to schedule. Eventually I'll get a COO, so that way I can let them plan this out, because as much as I do like planning it, it becomes tedious if you're not paying attention and letting it build up. Now fees, start raising them just enough to actually get a little bit more money. Like I say, we're hemorrhaging at this point, so we've only got a few grand left. Well, but as we get on, it shouldn't be too bad. We'll try to avoid any crazy loans. See, look, we're actually turning a profit that time. So that one I raise up kind of future again, because I know eventually I'm gonna add that in. As I'm looking kind of into the future of this airport, I may make a weird oval shape, kind of leave like an interior rotunda. Maybe like an outdoor passenger part. I know some airlines do that now, or airports do that. We're not adding lights. This will continue throughout the entire length of the road, public road anyway. Now I'm trying to figure out how I want to copy and paste, because it's not perfectly even. Yeah, I should have used the cheaper lights, but you know, gotta go all out. If you don't spend all the money, you can't get the same amount next time. How government spending works, from my knowledge. If it doesn't just put it on one side, it's one lane, one way. And see, you already got a few built. Now again, adding those lights to a whole whole length of the road. There we go, not total darkness anymore. Some here. You know, somebody will be walking into work at 3 in the morning, man. As I'm copy and pasting these lights, 4 has been a pretty good set for me. Offset these, especially since, like I said, people will inevitably walk from here to the main terminal. In reality, these lights would have a red obstruction light on them, being this close to the airfield, up against the fence and all. I'm just shoring up any spots I missed. Double light was put over by security because security. You want to make sure everything is seen as best as possible there. Alright, so now our first flight should actually be coming in soon. First commercial flight anyway. Whenever I set these, I try not to have them overlap with another aircraft coming in that's landing. I try to give it at least 5 minutes. reach arrival time. Yeah, at this point we're just kind of waiting now. Income's gone into the green again. Back to the red. My first bird's in. Now we're an official commercial airport. In reality, this airport would need a few more services before it'd be officially commercial. Definitely some fire rescue. At this point it'd be handled by the city though, until we get some on the actual airfield. We'd have to have inspectors come by, have inspectors on the airfield to actually do runway inspections, taxi, fence line, wildlife management. Fit it, so I was trying to save that overflow until I really needed it, so I went to another day. Even though it's got one block, it'll extend out a few days. It could be a one trip per day for a whole week. It might just be for that one day. The marketing's got to be crazy for these guys to put out a trip like this and have people come for the airport almost immediately, because that can't be a cheap ticket at all either. So we saw, got our first Saab in. Probably one of the bigger planes we can take here. Got some Pipers, Pilatus. Yeah, for baggage, I'll probably eventually make that underground once I get the floor, I think it's structural engineering part researched. That way I can put baggage underground and just have baggage claim right there. That's path analysis I'm looking at, trying to figure out why you're stuck. That's me forgetting that I actually made this part here. So I had to take off this employee only zone, staff zone. And then that'll go away. I'm trying to remember if I could make these employee only either, but nope. But it is what it is. If somebody's really willing to go all the way out there, they deserve it. The libertarian in me coming out. Small city like this, or a small city airport like this, would probably have a lot of tax breaks and business deals for anybody trying to come in, airline or tenants or anything, especially starting out. So I imagine these guys will be getting some pretty good deals to fly in and out of here. I'm just kind of overviewing, seeing how I want to take things out. As we get into the future, put a couple of screens in. Before you get to security, see where you gotta go. Granted, it's only 6 gates, somebody's bound to get lost. Figured I'd do a little city beautification. That'll make it look a little nice, you know, get people enticed, excited when they come in. It's me trying to remember where it was. There we go. We got a nice plain statue, and then we'll add some bushes. Water features are generally frowned upon with an airport. It brings a lot of other type of animals. Hard to deal with, but you know, it's not exactly accurate here. Well, as you enter the airport, you see that statue. See, probably have a name banner. So we're almost there with the emergency units. Beach 1900 got affinity for that in 208. Alright, we're coming to a close. They're trying to fit in any other aircraft I can. Again, this is Easy Plays. Next, we'll get into baggage once that emergency stuff finishes up and take it from there. Hope you liked it. Like, subscribe, what all the other people say. If not, that's fine. Hope I entertained you somewhat, got you into it, and I'll keep a lookout. I'll try and get stuff out as much as I can. The schedule's kind of weird. Thanks for tuning in.